Welcome back to Lost Task Channel. My name is Anton Vyeltsin. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the Southern District of California here in San Diego. You're now watching the 9th and final video in a multi-part series dealing with conspiracy law. In the first video, I gave you an overview and a roadmap where we're headed. Since then, we've talked about the elements of the crime, joinder, separating co-defendants and their trials. We covered a number of defenses. And now in this final video, we're going to touch on the statute of limitations. Thank you for joining me in this final segment where we're going to discuss conspiracy law. In this video, we're going to talk about the statute of limitations. In the criminal world, the statute of limitations means a period of time during which a prosecutor can bring a criminal case against you. Once that period of time passes, the prosecution is barred or prohibited from bringing a criminal case against you. A conspiracy is a continuing offense for the purpose of statute of limitations and venue. We have crimes that are one and done, and then we have things like a conspiracy that are ongoing. Ongoing as long as the overt acts continue to be committed. Overt act of concealment does not extend the life of a conspiracy unless concealment itself is the object of the conspiracy. Statute of limitation begins to run at the last overt act. So think about it. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people to commit an underlying offense. Once that underlying offense is committed, the conspiracy is over. Unless there's more objects in that conspiracy. If there's more ideas that need to be completed, then only once that last overt act is complete, then the statute of limitation begins. Now, let's take a look at United States versus Boardman. This is a 2009 case. Virgin Islands were devastated by Hurricanes Bertha and Marilyn. HPRP program, which stands for Home Protection Roof Program, was created to rebuild the island. Berman was an engineer at this program, and he solicited and accepted payments from contractors. Essentially, we're talking about bribery. He was giving contracts to only people who would pay him. On April 24th, 1998, he received a $15,000 and a $10,000 payment, one from the engineering firm, another one from a contractor. Now, he disguised those as a short-term loans. Here's the question. How long does the government have to bring the case against Mr. Boardman? Well, he says that the statute of limitation began to run on April 24th, 1998, when he received that payment. And because the charges were brought more than 5 years, in this case it was a 5-year statute of limitations, he could not be charged with a crime. Now, the government made an argument that actually the statute of limitations begins to run when the loans are repaid or disavowed by Mr. Boardman. Essentially, the government argued that there's implicit agreement to conceal these loans. Here's what the circuit court says. The object of the conspiracy was to enrich himself by corruptly soliciting and accepting payments from contractors. So if you think about it, if that's the object of the conspiracy, Boardman's actions of returning or keeping the money does not at all further the underlying scheme. Meaning that it doesn't matter what would have happened next. If the whole object for him was to receive the money, what he did on April 24th, 1998. It doesn't matter what happened later. And especially, the circuit court doesn't buy the government's argument because the whole idea of these loans was it was a disguise as a loan. This was not a real loan. This was essentially a bribery. And because of that, we have a statute of limitation issue. The circuit court agrees with the defendant, Mr. Boardman, and vacates his convictions because the statute of limitation barred the government from bringing this case. If you enjoyed this video, if you understand a little bit more about statute of limitations, and of course, if you enjoyed this whole series, I ask you to please click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so next time I post, you'll be first to know. And if you can, go back to part 1 and watch this series from the beginning, if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.